This is one of the few places in Europe that the brown bear calls home. High in the Cantabrian mountains in northern Spain, they've gone from being a rare sight to a tourist attraction. Even during the pandemic, some 40,000 people made the trip in the hopes of catching a glance of them.
Right now, he's eating nuts. That's all he's been doing for the past few days. It's really moving, awe-inspiring. It's an animal that had practically disappeared, and to see that there are now so many, it's a privilege.
The brown bear was hunted to almost extinction. In the early 90s, the population had fallen to around 60 individuals. Over the past 30 years, numbers have been slowly recovering. There's around 400 wild bears living in the area today. But as bear numbers grow, so does the damage they inflict. Between 2009 and 2018, local authorities paid out an average of €250,000 in compensation every year. There's one shockingly effective solution.
The bear just wanted some plums.
And he got an electric shock.
Guillermo Palomero heads up the Brown Bear Foundation and is visiting a local apiary to check that the electric fence is working as it should.
4,000 volts. The shocks are frequent.
1,500 fences have been erected across the mountains to protect livelihoods.
It's the most efficient system. Using another method, the bear will get in for sure.
Honey is an important source of income. Beekeepers must be protected because the bears pose a bigger issue to them than anyone else. Herders don't have any problems with them.
The NGO is helping to maintain these fences, which are in part paid for by the EU. This could be the secret to cohabitation. Beehive damage accounted for 64% of the total compensation paid in 2009, while in 2018 it accounted for a third. Another solution, the NGO's rangers regularly plant trees in the mountains to ensure the bears have a sufficient food source. This is the checker tree, which produces a fruit that bears like to eat, as the bulk of their diet is vegetarian. The rangers hope the fruit will be tempting enough to stop them from searching for food further afield, such as in pastures.
If we make sure they can find food far away from humans, they won't come near us, and there won't be any conflict.
Meanwhile, attacks on humans are vanishingly rare, only 7 in over 30 years. This bear welfare activist transformed his life to be closer to the animal. The French guide settled here 6 years ago, and last winter he bought a herd of sheep. He soon found himself with some unexpected neighbors.
The family set up home in that rocky area up there, barely 150 meters as the crow flies from the barn.
A mother and her 3 cubs lived here for 2 months. A peaceful cohabitation. That's thanks to this electrified enclosure, where he locks up his sheep every night. But in other mountain ranges, such as the Pyrenees, would struggle to adopt this model, as herds are typically left to wander at will.
Not everything that can be done here can be done elsewhere. For different historical and cultural reasons, herding methods aren't the same. There are changes to be made, but I'm convinced that the Pyrenees could adopt methods used here.
In the Pyrenees, 64 bears were recorded last year, so they've got a long way to go before they catch up with their Spanish neighbours.